Hey everybody, so I'm not really one to vent on social media, but this was kind of a historic or remembrance of a really impactful event. And it may have not been like today a year ago, it was probably like a couple days ago. I didn't really care to remember the exact date because why would I want to associate something horrible with a day that God has given me? But at the same time, things happen, they remember, we move on, and we grow. So, story time. So a year ago, I broke up. Well, actually, my girlfriend broke up with me more so. And I say that specifically because I had been with her for 2 years and known her about a year and a half before that. And I really felt like we were on the same page when we first started. We got to know each other, and it was really cool, like being able to talk through things and be there for one another. She had some hard stuff going on at home. I was dealing with stuff as we all do. We're all human. We're all looking for someone that we can connect with, someone that we can not put our burdens on, but like share our burdens with, that was willing to be there for us. And it was really cool because I felt like I had found that. So fast forward though, 2 years happened. We're to a point where I'm not really sure. I'm not entirely sure if it's actually going to go as we had thought and as we had planned, as we were hoping. And it was really hard for me because I had put so much time and energy and love into this relationship, into this person. It was heart-wrenching to think that all of that might be in vain in the end. I mean, and I still have the boxes of letters to prove it. And I'm not keeping that for sentimental reasons, like I'm holding on to something. So the reason why I'm kind of holding on to the letters that I still have from that relationship, I want to use that in a music video to a song that I wrote kind of about that time of my life. I've actually written 3 songs now. The reason why that music really hasn't been heard, not because I don't want to share it with people, it's because I want to record it the right way. I want to make really good soundtracks, and I'm not at that place where I can actually record like a really good and like mix. I'm not a music producer, you'll be able to hear some of Benjamin Olsen original music because I played it for specific family and friends that it all hit them as well too. I mean, just music that I poured my heart and my soul into because it's about my life, it's about times in my life. And one song, the very first song that I ever wrote was about my life during this time with this girl. And I put it that way because it is not about this girl and it's not to this girl. I don't name anyone in any of my first song stems from those 2 years in life, and the next 2 songs stem from basically the next time after one and going forward, but kind of looking forward and then thinking back, getting out my frustrations, because music is a therapy to me. Music is a way, and piano is a way that I can put things out in front of me, and I don't have to just bottle it up. So that being said, back to the story. She breaks up with me about a year ago now, and crazy how much for my family, because one, especially my cousin Chloe, because they were there for me, and Chloe and I think a lot alike. She's an amazing girl, and now she's met an amazing guy. So I'm really happy to, that was a really good connection point to be able to share my struggles with and to still share life with, because we see life a lot the same way. But it was really hard though, having to accept that for a while, feeling that pain, feeling like I had lost, feeling like I hadn't been enough, like I couldn't have been enough. And I guess that to me was, and like it took me a couple weeks not to get over it completely. Like, I can't say I'm completely over this. Like, I still have a hole, or a place where I want that human connection, that human intimacy. Part of the problem, and I know this, and I recognize this, is that we got too physical, and I can own up to that, and I can say part of that was my fault. That takes 2, but it was still partly my fault, and I can claim responsibility for it. But finally, when I was able to look back a couple weeks, maybe a couple months later after that, when I finally started to write my second and third song, was when I really started realizing that a lot of the relationship just ended up being, if I made a mistake or if I wanted something physical, then the rest of the time was just her making me feel bad for it, basically. And the way that played out in the end by her excuses, and I say excuses, not reasons, because, well, I'll get to that part of the story. But her excuses were I was never going to make enough money for her. Being a filmmaker, being a videographer. Now, granted, I'm not in a place right now where I could support, a wife. That's fine. I'm not even bothered by that at the moment. It's not that I don't seek to grow, but at some point, I will be there. It's in God's timing, all of those pieces. I'm not worried. I know that He's working through me, and to me, that afterward, that was a big rubbing point, realizing, hearing her say, basically, I was never going to make enough money for the life that she wanted to live, while at the same time, when I was finally able to step back from a relationship and finally admit to myself, she wanted so much of my time. I had put so much time to her, and we're not talking about quality, guys. We're talking about quantity in hours and hours and hours, and it was not fair to expect me to make a certain level of money for the time of day that she wanted from me. I mean, to the point where if I was on set, she would get upset if she texted me and I didn't text her right back immediately. The only excuse for her from her to not be on the phone together was if she had something to do. That was a problem. And I knew it, but I couldn't admit it to myself. I couldn't accept that. Big lesson for me was realizing the hardest person to take the truth from is ourselves sometimes. As much as we all say, I'm my own worst enemy, I beat myself up too much. You are your own worst critic. But sometimes critics have something good to say. Sometimes you can learn from the critics. Sometimes they have something that you can actually improve on. And it's hard when you're in a relationship where you feel so unstable that you will do anything to cover over the red flags that you know are there, even when someone else is saying that they're red flags too. I had multiple people come up to me after the relationship had ended and say, oh yeah, I kind of got the feeling that you guys weren't right for each other. And that blew my mind, because I was like, why were other people getting my relationship advice? That's what I wanted to know. That's what I wanted to know, if we were right for each other. And so thankfully now I have more people around me that will actually tell me what they think, because as much as it's uncomfortable, and I'm not a huge fan of discomfort, I'd rather get the truth than make the same mistakes again. I'd rather get the truth than continuing in my own ignorance, right? I'd rather listen to my own critic, find what is right about the critic, and then act on that to be better so that the critic doesn't have anything to say. Not just ignore the critic. That doesn't make that go away. That doesn't stop the red flags from meaning something. Just because the sea looks calm doesn't mean that the riptide's not there. That's why there's a red flag up, right? Yeah. But I finally was able to admit that to myself. And it was hard because, well, at the beginning, I told everyone, oh, we broke up mutually, I don't want to sound insensitive, I know it didn't hurt her, because we had spent 2 years together, so I know that it hurt her. But I eventually stopped saying that and said she broke up with me. And here's the biggest reason why. 6 months later, she got married. Let me say that again. 6 months later, she got married. She didn't just start dating. She didn't just get engaged. She got married. My really close friend of mine, who was close friends with both of us at the time, I'm still really good friends with, I'm not sure about them anymore, told me that he had said to her afterward, hey, you should wait 6 months, a year before you start getting out, to take time to heal. And 2 weeks later, he found out that she was talking to this guy. 2 weeks after she dumped me, she was talking to a guy. And 6 months later, she was married. To me, that just meant she had already moved on by the time she broke up with me. That's probably what hurt the most in the end, is realizing that she had already moved on. Because at the time that we broke up, we were trying, the royal we. I was trying, and she had suggested that we meet with some people that had been through some hard things in marriage and talk to them. And I was hopeful we'd be able to learn something. I was hopeful throughout the whole process, throughout that entire time, trying to work things out. Because to me, the definition of love is not just a feeling. I'm not just in love with you. I'm loving you. It's an action word. It's a feeling, but it's also an action. I wasn't going to give up on her because God had brought me there, which I think in the end is why God had to be the one to use her to get me out of that relationship, because I wasn't going to listen to somebody else, because I had already decided in my mind that love meant sticking through the hard times. It just turned out that she ended up being a really, really narcissistic person. Yeah, person. Which honestly wasn't really a surprise when I finally put my finger on it. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, but I digress. Here we are, a year later, and I have not been on a single date, and I have done a whole lot of stuff. It has not been the most productive or the most full or the most growth-filled year that I could have ever wanted, but there has been so much that I have learned, that I've grown through, so much deepening in my own maturity and just in my faith to say it is well with my soul no matter what. And I still deal with anxiety. That doesn't mean that things don't happen in my head. But the difference is I know what God has brought me through, and it's just that many more mountains that he's brought me through to now hold on to the fact that he's never let me go through 3 incredible heartbreaks, which is actually what my third song is about, is those 3. Yeah, so I don't know all of what God has in the future. I do hope to be married one day, to have a spouse, to share life's great journey on a very physical, very mental, emotional, and intimate level. That is something that I have had small experience of and now have a true desire for. But at the same time, God's will be done in the end. There's no one right now. There's no one. So I can't really say, in case anybody was wondering what Ben's up to. This is just kind of a life update, but also I really wanted to get on here, this being the anniversary. I don't really care anyway, but it's been in my mind because it's that time of year. We just got back from vacation, or about a week ago. That was the same time that she broke up with me, was about a week after vacation last year. And I gotta tell you, surround yourself with family, because family's either gonna know that they're with you for life and they're just gonna have to put up with you anyway, or they are gonna know that you're there for life and they're gonna make the most of it with you. And I have a family that just wants to make the most of life with family. And it's been pretty incredible to be around, not just be around, but be present more. Like I said, I've spent so much time with this girl that was wasted. That now that I'm here and I'm present and I'm able to be present with my family, it is incredible. It's been amazing. Been able to observe my family, my mom and my dad, my little brother, their habits, my habits, to try to find who I actually want to be, the habits, the lifestyle, the mindset I want to live with, the daily feelings that I want to create, the experiences I want to have. I'm not there yet, I don't think I have to be able to say it is well with my soul, and to say I've come through a lot and I'm so grateful for that. But I'm not an advocate of just staying in a relationship, okay guys? Can't say that, because the girls that I have tended to attract have been very needy, all of them. The girls that have tended to come up to me to tell me that they like me are the girls that are needy and they're really wanting my attention. I think it's because I'm so willing to give attention, and I'm so willing to spend energy on people and to listen to their problems. I asked my grandfather once, what is the biggest thing you've learned out of life besides your faith in God? And he said, be a good listener. And I took that to heart. I already knew that in some ways. I was already instilled, but once he put words to it, it made it so much more clear. And I took that to heart years ago. And that's really attractive to somebody who feels like nobody's listening to all their problems, and the problems that keep mounting up on top of each other, especially when you're a teenager and your problems are the entire world, okay? When I was finally able to grow up and mature enough to step back and realize my problems are not the entire world. The things and the way I see things is not the only way, for one, that they can be seen, but two, not the only way that I can see them. My problems, my fears have a very specific angle that they want me to look through, and if I can say, I want to look at it this way, I'm not defined by my fears anymore. Nor is my world or my life identifying with or my problem. Life is not the problem. Your problems are the problem. The way you see things can be the problem. Life is not the problem. There's a lot of bad stuff that can happen to us in life. That's life. There's only so much we can do about that. What we can control is the way that we see things. And I do want to say just one more time, I'm not an advocate in staying in a relationship if it's unhealthy. You have to be able to listen to the people around you. You have to be able to find the people who can be honest with you, who will show you some of the things that you might be doing wrong. Any red flag, I would take seriously. I want to desire to take that and to sift it. I want to take that and boil it down, see what truth might be in there, and truly, like, if it isn't working, why keep it? I mean, I don't know. I want to keep growing in life, and I want to keep being the person that people are drawn to and people are attracted to. But at the same time, I want to spend my energy where it's best to, and I want to invest in the people that God has for me to invest in, and the people that are most family to me. I have people that I consider family that aren't my family, and there's barely anybody that's closer to me than my actual family, and I'm so thankful to God for that, because that is definitely not everyone. It's probably not most people, so that's why I'm so thankful that it's so true. But there are some people that are that level to me, or very close to that level of family that I hold very dear, and that's where I want to put. I still seek to live like and be like Messiah, to love my neighbor as myself, to love my neighbor, to love everyone as Messiah loved everyone. It means I love everyone. I love 3 people that ripped my heart out, but I don't respect them, not the same way. And I don't seek to be with those people or to spend time with those people. I don't need their respect either. That's something I've learned too, is you want attention, but you don't want the wrong kind of attention. There are always going to be haters, people that if they see you, if you get enough eyes on you, some people are not going to like you. Whatever. Because I have a base, I finally have a foundation I can truly build off of, I can truly live off of. So anyway, it's a really long video. As I said, I don't tend to vent on social media for good reason, but at the same time, it's just been a long year. It's been a really long year, but I've been so thankful for the growth. God's brought opportunities in my life to work with people. Honestly, I've worked with people this year that if I had not had that breakup experience, or the breakup experiences before that, I would not have had the maturity or the strength of willpower. So it's been a hard year. And like I said, that hole is still there, but my life is very full. And I'm so thankful to Yahweh for filling it. I could never be grateful enough.